I have a friend named Sili. In her marriage, she was continually mistreated by her mother-in-law, who lived in the same house, because she had taken years without conceiving a child. Sili got married thinking it was the beginning of her happiness, but little did she know that it would turn into a living nightmare. Every day that passed after the first year of her marriage became a struggle in a house filled with cruel words, humiliation, and relentless pressure, all because she had not yet given birth. Her mother-in-law was the source of these insults. The verbal abuse towards Sili became sharper and more biting each day, with accusations that all she could do was sleep, eat food, and use the latrine, rather than giving her a grandchild. Sili's husband would wake up early in the morning for work, leaving her in bed. The weight of her unfulfilled hopes kept Sili in the bedroom longer than she wanted. Her mother-in-law, always up early, would prepare breakfast for her son while reminding him to find another woman who could conceive. She continued insulting Sili for being lazy and often warned her about what she brought to the marriage. Sili tried her best to stay strong, but at times she would lie in bed as silent tears rolled down her face, praying to the Lord for a child or any solution to end the torment. However, her prayers seemed unanswered as the situation worsened. Eventually, her mother-in-law even refused to let Sili eat or drink, making her feel like a prisoner in her own home. The constant humiliation and relentless pressure to bear a child became unbearable, and to make matters worse, Sili's husband never spoke up to defend her. One morning, Sili's mother-in-law declared she was finding another woman for her son to give her a grandchild. This left Sili bitter and devastated. The mother-in-law went to the village and returned with a young girl named Aisha. "This is the kind of girl my son needs. She is capable and will give me grandchildren," she told Sili. Sili was heartbroken and humiliated as her mother-in-law praised Aisha, treating her as if she were already the new wife of the house. Later that night, Sili's husband told her he supported his mother's idea, because he too was tired of waiting for a child. After years together, Sili faced an unbearable choice: accept this situation or leave the house. Things took a cruel twist when her mother-in-law announced that Aisha was pregnant. Joy filled the house as her mother-in-law and husband celebrated. "A grandchild at last. This is what real women do," her mother-in-law whispered to Sili, who was in agony and felt like drowning. Sili couldn't understand how Aisha, who had been in the house for less than 6 weeks, was already pregnant. She felt like a failed wife, as her husband, Aisha, and her mother-in-law rejoiced. Later that month, after the news of Aisha's pregnancy, Sili's husband and mother-in-law accompanied Aisha to the hospital for a routine checkup. There, the doctor revealed shocking news. Aisha was already 3 months pregnant. This revelation confused Sili's husband, who demanded an explanation. Tearfully, Aisha confessed that the baby she was carrying was not his. Shaking, she admitted, "I got pregnant in the village before I came to your house. My boyfriend is the father of this baby." When they returned from the hospital, chaos erupted in the house. Sili's mother-in-law was stunned and humiliated, while Sili's husband was furious. He turned to his mother and ordered her to leave his house along with the girl she had brought from the village. He could not believe his mother had caused such turmoil in his life and home. Left with no choice, Sili's mother-in-law left with Aisha. A few months later, Sili began feeling unwell and decided to visit the doctor. To her surprise and joy, she was told she was pregnant. Finally, God had answered her prayers. Overwhelmed with happiness, Sili wept tears of joy. After enduring so much pain, humiliation, and insults, she was finally going to become a parent. This news brought joy back to her home, which had previously been filled with cruelty.